Hi, it's Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Just going over some Star Atlas news from the past week. So this is our podcast number 23. This podcast is based on the news that if you're curious, you can look at our news recap on our website, intergalacticherald.com. Look for News Recap 72 to find all the latest links, podcasts, articles about Star Atlas from the last week. Want to mention, since this is the second episode of our kind of new format here, if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, I'm definitely looking for guests. I'll be reaching out hopefully soon to some community members, but I'm also totally interested if any community member wants to come on and discuss and analyze the past week in Star Atlas. So you can reach me by going to intergalacticherald.com, or you can look for my handle on Discord, the Star Atlas Discord, Intergalactic Herald. Yeah, my Twitter is close to Intergalactic Herald, but I had to make it smaller, and I don't remember what it is. So anyways, one of those three is probably the best way to reach out. Additionally, I just wanted a couple self-promotions of a couple other Star Atlas projects that I'm working on. The first is, again, the Intergalactic Gear, which is a Star Atlas merch store that I'm starting up. So I'm looking for anybody who has some feedback on different merch that you may be interested in. So I have a merch survey, so please go to intergalacticgear.com. Additionally, I am looking to form a non-guild guild called the Intergalactic Coalition. This is a guild basically focused more on just gamers who don't want to align with one of the traditional guilds with all the different levels and sharing and things like that. Not that there's anything wrong with those kind of structures. I'm just looking to be a weekend gamer in the future in Star Atlas, and I figured there might be other people like me that like a place to hang out. Additionally, the thing I'm hoping to do within the Intergalactic Coalition is set up a different community platform that allows for a little more asynchronous communication, unlike the chat nature of Discord. So if looking for feedback on that. Anyways, you can go to intergalacticcoalition.com to learn more about that. So let's get into the bulk of the content for this podcast. What happened kind of in the last week were continuations from the, again, wasn't technically a town hall, but the company updates and all the revelations, all the alpha, all the new things that was announced by the team. So we got a little more information about it, but did a little more thinking. It takes, a little while when I have some free time to actually remember things about Star Atlas. So I wanted to kind of discuss what I guess is called Sage Labs. I do always have to give credit to whoever's doing all the naming within Star Atlas. They're always coming up with clever names or acronyms or whatever. So I guess the labs part is because, again, this was an internal testing tool for as they rolled out more parts of Sage. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Sage Labs, whatever's coming. Anyways, what really kind of struck me about it was a comment or something, again, about this will, quote, start the economy of Star Atlas. And again, as I mentioned in the last podcast and my feeling on the Star Atlas, that it's Star Atlas is the thing, but there's lots of facets or dimensions to it, whether that be the UE5 AAA game, now this web browser, casual game. I don't know what we're going to call Sage. Now there's a mobile app, there's the economy, there's the concept of a metaverse. Hopefully someday we get VR. So anyways, but a lot of people are like, hey, it's the start of the economy. And again, I'm like, okay, what's an economy? I mean, we all live in countries and they have economies. I run a business that makes money that I can then take money to buy things for my family. So I guess I'm part of the economy. But I was kind of thinking, what does economy mean within a game or the metaverse or Star Atlas? And how does Sage Labs, quote, start the economy? So I guess if I'm thinking about it, economy must mean money, or in this case, crypto coins. So some sort of exchange of value. Okay, fine. That's Atlas and Polis, but probably, I guess, more Atlas. So we've had Atlas. It's been a token you can buy on a crypto exchange for a couple of years now. We've had Score, or the faction fleet, where we could stake our ships and earn Atlas by paying the 4 R's, the toolkits, fuel, ammo, can't remember the fourth. Again, you click the buttons after a while, you don't even remember where they are. But anyways, everybody refers to it as the 4 R's. So we've had that. Then we got claim stakes, where we could receive, right? Yeah, claim stakes. You just receive the 4 R's on a daily basis. And then we had escape velocity, the test of Sage, where you could earn some resources. But again, I guess I would consider, in hindsight, escape velocity basically just, well, obviously it was a test, but I guess you got a reward for putting time in. So it's time for money, maybe, or rewards, whatever. Anyways, but again, this concept of starting the economy, and what little we've seen in the potential play mechanisms is you take your ships, you put them into fleets. Actually, before I get into that, economy. There is economy. I had to buy a ship. So I had to take my real hard-earned money, USDC, convert it into, US dollars. Not USDC. I had dollars that I had to somehow get into a cryptocurrency so that I could buy a ship. Some of the ships I bought were primary sales directly in the Star Atlas Marketplace. Some were on secondary sales. So obviously somebody before had to put real money into the system. So that's an economy too. So again, back to this, start of the economy. I'm like, well, wait, I've already put real money into the game, bought a ship. I've been staking the ships to get Atlas. I'm staking my claim stakes to get the 4 R's. I guess prior to claim stakes, I was buying the 4 R's on the marketplace to spend on my faction fleet staked ships to get Atlas. Anyways, my point of all this is, haven't we already had the economy? How is Sage Labs going to make an economy? So what little we've seen is that you'll take your ships, you'll put them into fleets, you'll go out into space using a 2D, maybe, I guess it's 2D overview, kind of similar to escape velocity. You find asteroids, you click a button, and of course we don't know exactly what happens because it sounds like you can't just click a button, come back in 2 hours. Maybe you have to watch it for 2 hours. I don't know. And you get some now new resources, not the 4 R's, the toolkits, fuel, ammo, food. That's the fourth one, food. You get some other things, and some of the things had like minerals or metals like copper or gold or platinum. I don't remember. It was a very quick screen capture, and it doesn't really matter until it comes out. I mean, all these screen captures are just works in progress. So then we craft them. Now, my gaming background was either first-person shooters where you just ran around and shot people and picked up health packs and stuff, power-ups, or real-time strategy where you had to mine usually 2 or 3 resources, some material, some energy, and from those 2 you could then build factories, have farms, whatever, barracks, again, depending on the real-time strategy, and then those would produce things, soldiers, tanks, cavalry, whatever. And then you go out and you had combat. And again, I still kind of think a lot of Sage starts sounding like a real-time strategy game. Now, again, there's a lot of subtleties. Is this turn-based? Anyways, we'll see when it comes out. But I'm sure the developers have been inspired by previous games. So we're getting these things and we're crafting. Now, I've never played a game that really has crafting. So again, I don't know what World of Warcraft does or other MMOs, so I'll have to learn that. But again, from the quick video, it sounds like you put 2 things together. You have your crew and then a time. And after the time has passed, assuming you put the right amounts in, a different thing comes out. Okay, cool. So now that thing does something else. Now, there was always the thought that all these crafting would eventually enable you to build your own ships. Because I remember early on they talked about blueprints, and I assume for building ships. Still not 100% sure how it works because we've been buying ships. But again, I guess you could eventually craft a ship and sell it. So, but again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves on whatever. So Sage Labs is going to have some sort of, seems like simply 2 of the things you mine become something else. Again, we're not 100% sure what the something else is. Hopefully it's for sure R4, but maybe there's other outcomes. Okay, cool. But how's this any different than the score faction fleet or the claim stakes? And maybe it's just that there's a active component, kind of like in Escape Velocity, you had to move, and so I had to be playing, where in Score and the claim stakes, I just have to check them once a day, click a button, and I get something. So again, that's not a game. That's clicking buttons. Maybe this is a game. But is it actually a game? I don't know. And again, maybe we have to remember, again, we're just talking about building blocks for this game. This is not the UE5 thing. If you think of it as a real-time strategy game like I played, we'll just use Age of Empires to keep the memories, because you mine wood, gold, food from farms, and then you train cavalrymen and other soldiers and stuff, and I guess villagers too, to do all the work. Maybe that's true. So, but the game part of it, I guess, again, building all that to get the resources is a game part. But it was more about the combat and the real-time strategy. And again, we know for sure we're not getting combat in Sage Labs. So I guess it's a game. But going back to the initial question, is it an economy? I mean, it's more of a economy where you take raw resources and turn them into finished products, I guess. I don't know. Maybe, again, this is all semantics. I don't know. But again, everybody's like, oh, it's going to be start of the economy. And I'm like, okay, maybe. So I guess we'll kind of see. But anyways, that's my little analysis of this. Is the start of the economy, and is this actually a game? And how much different will it be than the faction fleet? The last thing on this subject, somebody had mentioned, and again, I didn't know this kind of, and maybe this is gaming, this is what I don't understand, quote unquote, spreadsheet warriors. And somebody I think mentioned EVE Online, which I've never gotten into, so I don't know. But I could definitely see from all the conversations that have been going on about, I don't even know what VWAP means. But anyways, all this stuff of this ship's better than that, I'm like, they're just ships. I don't get it. Anyway, so hopefully there's nothing wrong with saying this is just for these, quote, spreadsheet warriors. But again, I'm kind of like a game or an economy. And maybe that's just wait and see, and then I'll understand more. But I keep going back to a game involves doing something. And I guess there's the entertainment factor. Ultimately, to me, games are entertainment. So I guess we'll see. I've probably gone off enough on all that. Because again, there's nothing to see. We don't know. We just have a couple screen captures. But however, no matter what, this is the progression. And I understand that. And I'm totally okay with progression. I'm just kind of curious, well, what are we going to do now until the next thing? Whatever the next thing is. So moving on, one of the next things is what had been called the companion app. But then I started hearing the word fitness app. And the concept of move to play. So, it's a different aspect of Star Atlas, which is intriguing. It runs on your phone, so that's kind of cool. I definitely like the idea that this could be the introduction to lots of new people into the Star Atlas ecosystem. It was mentioned it's going to be about crew members, which, okay, fair. Apparently our crew members need to be leveled up. Why, I'm not sure yet, but it's a game mechanic. You have things and you level them up and they can do more things. I mean, and again, my real-time strategy, you had level 1 tanks, and then you did something that became level 2 tanks, and they had better firepower, better damage, whatever. So again, I get the whole concept of leveling up. But it was also mentioned that these crew members would only affect racing, which again is fine. And again, there's been talk about the next version of the showroom is really going to be focused on racing, with the whole idea of, I mentioned in the last podcast, Race Schedule, which again sounds really cool. If you're into racing games and see 8 people run, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of entertainment value there. I mean, it'd be great if you could do the live stream esports broadcasting. I mean, I think there's a lot of really interesting mechanics. Again, if you like racing, if you want to go out and explore a galaxy solar system and that. Obviously, that's not what this is. But again, I'm okay with progression. There's nothing wrong with that. So I also like the idea that this is a move to play. So again, the mechanic is, I guess, you walk around with your phone, the accelerometer knows you're moving. You get time, you spend time, you get rewarded for it. Again, nothing wrong with that. But I was starting to think about this, again, for the people that have already purchased Star Atlas ships, and we have Crew, which someday we'll get as either NFTs or SFTs, for people who haven't been in the Star Atlas. The SFT, I don't remember what it stands for, but it's not totally unique. So there can be more than one ship of a type, where an NFT is completely unique, if I'm getting that correct. But anyways, so I'm not really sure, again, if these Crew are totally unique that then can be attached to a ship. Anyways, I know there's a lot to work out. But I got thinking again, okay, so I got my ships, I got my Crew. I'm going to run the fitness app. Maybe I'll run it when I'm walking the dogs. Awesome. Cool, I'm already invested in the Star Atlas ecosystem. Why is someone else going to want to start this app? They're going to go to the App Store, iPhone, Google Play, and they're going to see an app, and it's for a space game, and they can level up a crew member of a ship. Why? Why is anybody downloading that app? To me, smartphone apps are casual gaming, whether it's the Jewel stuff, the Clash of Clans, where you're playing little war games. I keep seeing so many apps pop, or ads for these apps where you're shooting these swarms of zombies. I'm getting so tempted to click one of them because I'm like, hey, that's pretty mindless. But other than walking around to level up your crew member in a space space sci-fi game that doesn't exist today, man, I'm not sure why anybody's going to download that app. Now, I think it's a great idea for an app. It's great to encourage other people to come and play. But why is somebody going to download that app? And so to tying this back to the first one, which is the economy, maybe this is the way that, even though we say, quote, not for financial advice, the only way any of these things make any sense is because there's a possibility you could trade your time for crypto. And then crypto could be exchanged for something that actually you think is valuable, i.e. real national currency. Okay, I guess. We'll see. I mean, if that's what it is and it works, awesome. And maybe that's the thing that I keep missing is I keep thinking about Star Atlas as a game which I want to experience and be entertained. So I'm totally happy spending some money. I didn't come in the idea that, well, if I spend my time, I can earn these tokens and then I can trade these tokens in for something that could pay my mortgage. I guess that could work too. Again, we'll see. So anyways, I'm still not sure why someone's going to download this app. But of course, again, we just heard about the app. We haven't seen the marketing campaign. We haven't seen a lot of other things. As a quick aside, the Never Alone campaign on Zealy, at first I was like, okay, I'll tweet something. Sorry, X something, whatever. Twitter, X. Anyways. And I get these points, and then I, get more points, and then I can get these special things, and then I can turn them in for something. Hey, lots of people have been playing that. Again, if that could become more open to the public and people find that interesting, a lot of the quests are very specific. I mean, how many people are going to do a video about what Star means to me if they've never learned? So I could see again where if you change your target audience, again, using some of the things from my marketing agency, these things have lots of potential. Again, if the current target audience is current Star Atlas community members, and Zealy is a great way to keep up enthusiasm for the current community. So again, how do all these work together? It might be as simple as once the development team or the Star Atlas leadership team changes their focus from current community members to how to gain new community members and change over what their how they're promoting all this stuff, from the fitness app to the whatever iteration of Sage is available, to things like the Never Alone Zealy campaign, and people go, hey, that sounds fun, or hey, I'd like to earn some money for my time. Hey, this could all make sense, and all start bringing more people in. Because again, I'm still of the opinion that the only way we grow is to literally, again, grow more people, get the game, whatever, more interesting to people, and bring people in and onboard them and get them engaged. So, but there's got to be stuff to engage with. That's, I think, been the key on it. Just buying an NFT ship only takes engagement so far, especially when, again, they don't go up in price. That's what I think the crypto thing of last year was all about, where everything went up in price. I mean, does anybody talk about Bored Apes anymore? I haven't heard anything on the mainstream news in forever, where all these IPs they were going to build with TV shows and movies on Bored Apes. Again, maybe I don't watch Jimmy Fallon or whatever, but I mean, you don't hear about those stuff anymore. Anyways, moving on, next topic. So this past week there was an Atlas Brew. Again, it was about Sage Labs, and that's where some of mine. But there were a couple other interesting things that came out of it. Michael Wagner, the CEO, joined. I guess he doesn't typically, but anyways, and again, he's been on a very good, totally great, I'll call it promotion, where he's constantly talking through different community forums about the games and what's coming up and all that. So again, totally great. So two things came out. One was the referral program, which again goes back to the theme I'm really excited about, which is how do we bring people into the community? Well, a referral program incentivizes community members to be advocates for Star Atlas, and I think this is brilliant. The best way to do anybody is word of mouth referrals. It's the know, like, and trust factor. I'm going to use this for how I do prospecting on my agency all the time. I mean, so much easier to get a referral from somebody you know than it is to go to a freelancing site or a job board and just throw out your resume / sheet. So I think this is great. Michael Wagner went into a lot more on the affiliate promotion or referral promotions, and yeah, these are very, very nice. Again, until it shows up, it doesn't matter, but I thought he said at one point like 25% of sales or something like that. I'm playing around with Amazon affiliates, and I mean, you're lucky to get 2 or 3% on some products. So 25% is, I mean, it's crazy good. So I think this is great. I think definitely rolling this out when these other actual engagement games come out is brilliant. So I wanted to compliment the team on that. Plus, it's better than whatever we have now, which I signed up, but I don't know what it does. I never knew how to promote it. The other thing that was interesting came out of the Atlas Brew was, and it was a small point, and I think some of the team, or I remember seeing in the foundation room on Discord, somebody was like, wait, they're saying that if somebody else... Oh, anyway, so as part of the build program, which again is where the IP, Michael Wagner mentioned that they might release all the stuff related to the Sage Labs. And so somebody could build a better UI, because again, they've been claiming the Sage Labs UI is just, rudimentary. And if somebody else could do it, this wouldn't develop Sage or something to that effect. Anyway, somebody took it to the point that means they don't really want to develop Sage. And I think there was a comment again later in the Discord Foundation room that no, it's just the possibility that the community or anybody could take stuff. And again, I think we got to go back to the bigger picture. Star Atlas has been promoting from time I got involved the fact that they want other development studios. They want everybody. They're really just building a platform, which again is kind of a brilliant idea. So I don't think it was that they didn't want to finish it. But anyways, the key point I took away, and I think this might have been slightly lost, but it was mentioned, was the whole concept of modding. And again, if we think about video games that have existed in the past, things like Quake, what's the one by Steam? Half-Life, Half-Life, which was a mod too, and then there were mods. Anyways, Counter-Strike. The PC gaming ecosystem is always always had a very, very rich modding community. And again, I think there is something there. People who could get access to things, I know now we call them game engines and APIs and all this stuff. But back in the day, I mean, they were literally hacking files and doing stuff. I think that is an incredible, insightful, foundational thing that they're preparing almost all the games for the possibility of modding. And again, I call it modding more than, well, I'm going to build a better UI. No, you're modding the game. And so again, people that have the skills or can see a thing, and again, with the builder program, I would assume that economics are allowed up until their limits. So if you develop something on top of that, again, I think this is great, and I'm glad it was brought up. So hopefully that gets some of the people who have this capability of modding, programming, whatever you want to, things like that, well, really look at it. So I think that's great. Next topic. This was more of a general one that kept coming back to, and I've alluded to it a couple of times, but I'll just make it more overt now. Was just, again, going back to the quote-unquote types of gaming that Star Atlas is looking to have. And again, we've all talked about the UE5 space exploring combat game, a la the EVE Online or Star Citizen. And again, I have to admit, that initial trailer, that's obviously the UE5 game, the AAA game. I mean, that's what got me really like, this looks really cool. I'd really love to do this. Oh, hey, there's a crypto component. Even better. I can own my own things. So, again, I think a lot of us are still obviously waiting for that. But that was the original reason we got interested. So there's that one. And again, the showroom is the start of that. But then we got these web browser. Again, I still don't know what to call them. But I was realizing more and more that this style of game is really just about clicking. Maybe, again, this is where the spreadsheet warrior comes in. And I'm not saying that that's not an intriguing gaming aspect. It's just a different gaming aspect. So we need to realize what it is. And again, I guess if you think about it, a real-time strategy game, which I would definitely call a game, is all about clicking things, clicking, grouping people, moving them there. So, I mean, maybe I'm being a little hypocritical, but if Sage is real-time strategy, and eventually I'm going to get some combat, and that's going to be like my days of playing Age of Empires or Company of Heroes or what was the other one? I can't remember. I played so many. World of Warcraft initially was an RTS, close combat. Command and Conquer, that was the other big one. Then I'll be all for it because I like that one. And again, if it runs in a web browser, even better, because now you don't need a high-end PC with a video card. So if that's the ultimate where Sage is heading, I'm even more excited because I could play that for years too. Anyways, the point is the type of gaming. So we have this web browser theme that Escape Velocity was the very initial how it works. Now we've been mentioning this mobile app. And I'm starting to think more and more about it. Again, it's still early. The crew up-leveling, tide-only racing, not really sure. But let's just call this casual gaming. And I think as soon as you think of it that way, having a casual game within the Star Atlas universe is an awesome strategic decision. So, of the things we've been told or announced or said that are in development, you got the UE5, AAA, fully immersive, hopefully VR game. Maybe you got this top-down RTS economy thing, and you got this mobile casual game. I think this is really great. And here's why. They're all tied together. Your mobile game has an impact upon your web browser game, which has an impact eventually on the AAA UE5 game, and the assets are all stored on the blockchain. Again, think about that for a bit. 3 types of gameplay styles, all together in the sense of controlled assets on a blockchain. Again, if you think about it, that's what we've been interested in, but now we're starting to see the realities of these things coming out. Again, it was terrible that the team had to reduce staff, but again, it sounds like it's given them a 18-month runway, assuming no growth, which again, if there's no growth, there won't be anything. But I mean, 18 months is, well, they've been around I guess I forget when Score came out. It feels like 2 years because lots of people have been mentioning they've had their ship staked for 600 days. So let's call that 2 years. So here's where we are 2 years later. We still have Score / Faction Fleet and some showroom that you can do a little bit in, but really after an hour, I mean, maybe not an hour, after a few minutes, it's like, okay, there's not much here. I don't know. It still all feels really, really interesting. So we'll see where it all goes. But anyway, so that's most of my thoughts. I did have one final one to bring up. I remembered one content creator mentioning, hey, we got to hurry up and get everything out there or else this thing called Starfield's gonna take away all the oxygen in the air. So I remember looking at a video, but I had to go back and figure it out. So Starfield is another video game coming out. I think this fall or soon, probably for the Christmas season, like a lot of video game launches are. But Starfield is actually developed by Bethesda Game Studios. So, I mean, this is one of the big powerhouses in game development. If you're not familiar, all the Elder Scrolls, which admittedly I haven't played, but again, they usually reach the #1 rated game of the year type of thing. They did the Fallout series. So, I mean, this is a major, major game development studio. In fact, in preparing for this, I looked up and I didn't even remember that they got bought out by Microsoft. So they're Microsoft now, just like Microsoft's trying to buy Activision. But regardless, their pedigree is they produce these awesome PC / console games. And somebody's like, yeah, we got to hurry up or it's going to take all the oxygen out of there because Starfield's supposed to be some sort of sci-fi game similar to what Star Atlas is going to be. The thing that I guess my comment is that the true AAA games, not saying Star Atlas can't be a AAA game. The previous AAA games have been built by studios who build AAA games. You know, the Bethesdas of the world, Valve, Sony. I mean, all the games that should come off the top of my head, but they're not right now. I mean, Star Atlas, sorry, they're not one of those. They don't have staff well, they did have staff of 200 or 300, but they were, having to build from the ground up. So they were a startup. They don't have backings of major distribution companies. They didn't get bought out by Microsoft. So the saying that, hey, this is if we don't hurry up, games come and go. They're going to be another one next month. Even when these do come out, maybe they have a life of a year. Again, the Fortnite of the worlds, the Overwatch. Yeah, they run for multiple years. I mean, Counter-Strike's been running forever. StarCraft has been running forever. So there's some that go past the 1 or 2 cycle. But a lot of games come out, a lot of gamers, because gamers like to go on to something new. So anyways, my whole point of all this last section is just to say that just because there's competition, who cares? Again, I did check and it's supposed to come out on PC. So right there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's much more of a console game because most of the games coming out now have that focus. Anyways, the real point isn't I don't know anything about it. I don't have enough time to play too many games, so that's why Star Atlas was intriguing to me. It was a slower cycle. The games are going to come, and competition's not a bad thing because there's plenty of gamers in the world that are interested in being entertained for their traditionally $60 a game. And they put some time into it and they go, and then when they're done with it or something new comes out, they move on. Again, there's lots of time for Star Atlas to still make its mark in the marketplace. So again, I don't have a problem. So anyways, that's my thoughts of the week based on some of the Star Atlas news. Give you, again, just my thoughts. If you like what you hear, thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, if you want to reach out to communicate with me again, please go to intergalacticherald.com, look for the contact page, emails there. You can reach out on Discord, Intergalactic Herald, or if you go to my website, all the socials are at the bottom. You can reach out through those. If you're on the website, intergalacticherald.com, please do sign up for the newsletter, which is the weekly recap of all the other content that's been created, videos and articles from all the other Star Atlas content creators. Always like to share those because that's where I keep up to date. So I do appreciate all the work they do recapping things that I don't have time for during the week. And again, I just wanted to bring up my 2 projects I'm working on within the Star Atlas environment in the build program. One, again, is the intergalacticgear.com, which is the merch store. Starting a merch survey. I'd love to get some feedback on things you might be interested in purchase. So please go to intergalacticgear.com. And then intergalacticcoalition.com is my non-guild guild that I'm thinking of starting up. First phase will be, again, just a place for Star Atlas community members who don't want to join one of the traditional guilds, just want to hang out with people, talk about Star Atlas, but be able to be an environment, community platform that allows you to get email alerts on things you're interested in, read threaded messages, so not chat-based. That's what I'm interested in. So I'm looking, have an interest survey if you're interested in joining to fill that out. Once we can get enough interest, the platform is a paid platform, so that's pretty much it. I need basically some contributions through your paid memberships to help get that launched, and then hopefully that helps that community grow. Other than that, I should be back again next week for another recap. So thank you very much for listening to this, and have a great rest of your day and week, and talk to you then. Bye.